for sure. So how to deal with good and bad results at the competitions, right? At the dance competitions.
We guys have, sorry Lilia, we have a lot of content for this live. I can show you our scheme is very, very big. I think we're not gonna be able to cover everything in one live. So I think this will be our part 1. All right, and then part 2 will be
Next
soon.
time.
Yeah, maybe in a few weeks. And we are thinking maybe we will make it. Yeah, we have to see. We have to
Don't
see
give
how
out
much,
all the secrets.
Yeah, I'm shutting up. Okay, you start.
All right, so when we thought about competitions and good and bad results of the competitions, we thought about what is actually the result. Okay, so obviously we have something that is a placement or a round as an actual result at the competition. This is something that everybody would think of. And then another thing that you can have in your mind as a result of the competition is something that we call the personal goal achievement. All right, and this is something that we would like to talk about first, because we feel like this personal goal achievement, the satisfaction from it, or maybe perhaps not satisfaction from it. Yeah, this is something that is very important to acknowledge, and this is something that we would like to discuss first before we move to the competition result in the first place. Right?
Yeah, in other words, you have period of time, and you have that competition is coming, let's say in May. So you are somewhere in February, and you know that from February till May you have to do certain things at your practice, working with your teacher or teachers. And if you achieve those things, regardless of placement at the competition, you can tell yourself, as a result of my hard work, I have achieved, and you can have number of things. It can be only one thing, right? So it really depends, like Lilia said, personal goal. What is your personal goal?
Yeah, and it is very important to set those goals before you go to the competition. We feel like many times people go to an event and they don't have any goals, so most likely they're not satisfied at the end of the event. So it is very important to set those goals. Now the goals can be, as Iaroslav said, many different goals can occur here. So you can, for example, say, I would like to improve my posture. So I would like to have my curve, big all the time throughout the event. I would like to have my frame constant and things like that. Or might be the footwork. So I would like to improve my heels and toes, right? I would like to make sure that I have no foot failures during the competition. Or can be more complex, can be achieving different musical rhythms, can be, being fully satisfied and happy with the presentation, with how you look. Can be any goal really, can be few goals, and preferably there would be a few goals at the competition, right? So it is very important to actually set those goals, to discuss it with your teacher or with your partner, and be very realistic. So I think the key word here is a realistic goal for a competition. Again, discussing it with your coaches, discussing it with your partner, and being honest with yourself is very important here, that we are actually giving ourselves a chance to achieve those goals, and therefore have more satisfaction, and therefore long-term perform better. So setting the goals, right?
Setting the goals. I absolutely agree with everything what Lilia said, and I would like to say that on the other hand, setting any goal, it can be the most simple goal, is important, because this is, I would say, like a method of self-regulation. If you have absolutely no goal and you're going with the flow at the competition, you're very vulnerable to different circumstances around you that you can't control anyways. So at least setting a simple goal, and it might be, I don't know, fitting into the dress and looking beautiful, and going through the day with the same makeup without having it screwed up or anything like that. That can be another goal where you feel like at least you're in control of something, so your mind is in the right place. Let's not underestimate those maybe little things on first sight, but nevertheless they play a very huge psychological role in your well-being during competition and also after competition.
Yeah, and the outcome of the competition, right? So we can say that setting personal goals is something very objective. So we can say, all right, I've done this, and this is obviously something tangible, and this is obviously done or not done, right? It is something that we can control, and it's something very objective and very tangible, very real, right? So this is something that we can totally say, okay, I achieved that, or I haven't achieved that.
And if you haven't achieved that, you can totally blame yourself in a way, right? So for example, the goal is to dance to the music and you didn't dance to the music. Who to blame? Only yourself. So this is regardless judges' opinion or other competitors or anything like that. You are really responsible for your own motion, your own activity. This is objective. Now, this is one type of results we will be talking about. Today we talk about it completely. Personal goal achievement. Now the next type of result will be placement at the competition. And this is very subjective for a number of reasons. I think we will go through that type of result, placement at the competition, in our next slide, because honestly
it is a very big subject, very interesting.
Big subject. We would spend like 3 hours in here, and that's a long time, right? So placement at the competition is subjective. It does not entirely depend on us, really. Of course, the better we dance, the higher chances, but we're still talking about some chances. Sometimes it happened to us many times. We are dancing really well and everything goes fine and we like how we look, but the placement at the competition is suspicious. So we can't blame ourselves really, and we don't want to blame others or judges or whatever, but the point is that we can't control it. There is a different logic and set of rules that are in charge, and we have no influence over them.
All right, so today we focus on something that we totally aren't controlling. We're going to talk about achieving the goals, right? So when we have a goal and we have the event coming up and we've actually performed at the event,
we have two options.
We have two options here, right? So we either achieve the goals or we haven't achieved those goals that we set for ourselves, right?
Let's talk about achieving the goal. You set the goal, you dance competition, we are not talking about the placements, and you have achieved that goal. You had that great footwork that you have been working on for a long time.
Yeah, and when you check the video, you clearly see that there is no footwork mistakes and your teacher is happy with it. Yeah. And so everything is done the way that was planned.
So if you have achieved that goal, this is really like in one of the jokes, then you have again two options. You are happy that you have achieved that goal, or you are not happy. You're not satisfied that you have achieved that goal. And believe me, that also happens. So sometimes everything goes well, you have achieved the goal, and you are just for some reason not satisfied with that. So now we would like to talk about you achieved the goal and you are happy about yourself. You're satisfied with what you have achieved.
Of course, it's a perfect case scenario, right?
How to deal with that? And you guys will be probably surprised that many people actually can't deal with the fact that they have achieved something. It's hard for them psychologically to accept that fact.
Yeah, I feel like in the modern world, we're constantly chasing the goals, chasing our, dreams, and we're constantly setting new ones. So sometimes when we achieve something, we don't really give ourselves time to enjoy it. We don't even give ourselves time to accept it, but we are already jumping into the next goal, which I think to a certain degree is good, but we would like to really focus on actually celebrating the goal achievement here. Yeah. So I think when you achieve something and when you done something very well, you have to really try to take a moment, take a day to celebrate it. During our career, we've had many times moments that we achieved the goal, competitions when we came, which we came out of, and we felt like we've done whatever we planned, And
the result was good too.
yes, and the result was good. So the stars aligned, right? So, but many times we had another arrangement, another commitment the next day, another competition coming up, another training camp, another lesson. So we wouldn't take time to celebrate. We wouldn't take time to really acknowledge it and, give ourselves a time to appreciate ourselves, right? And each other.
Correct.
So we think that to deal with a good result in terms of your personal goal, you have to celebrate it. So this will give you so much more motivation, so much more power and mental strength to continue and to get into the new goal with even more
joy.
Excitement and joy, right? So we really suggest you to take time to go for a nice dinner, to celebrate and to tell yourself, all right, you did very well today. Really celebrating goals achievement is a big, big thing.
Look at your video without judgment. You can look at your videos for a week in a row. Every day you can keep looking at your videos. That's another way that probably you can celebrate it and acknowledge small things that were done good at that night, at that particular occasion. This will give you even more, like Liliia said, motivation to go further. And most important, you build up confidence like that, which is very, very hard. Probably build up confidence would be one of our other lives.
Right.
Yeah. I'm the master. you can tell probably. So, and that not being cocky or anything like that, but we have to know what we're worth. And we have to accept it as our asset, but not constantly be, grinding our teeth and be unhappy and, everything is never enough. So celebration is one of the things. And then if you have achieved your personal goal and you're happy about it, you can definitely, after you celebrate it enough, go ahead and set new goals. New goals are important. Again, they have to be, we suggest that they are realistic. And of course, for example, our methodology, Prism Method, is designed to make things clearer. So you can definitely know if you set a new goal, which layer of the methodology you are working on. So you are not confused. Because of course, you can set any goal, but sometimes things can be so confusing and out of control that at some point you don't even know what you're working on.
Right.
So this is just the way we think, the way we teach and have lessons ourselves, and I think that's something easy to deal with.
Yeah, if you're looking at the pyramid of Prism Method, you can see that the layers are also progressive. So whenever you're setting the new goal, try to go progressively up and perhaps not jump between the layers a lot, but really going through them consistently. Sorry, my English. Consistently will give you a chance to consequently, that's the word I was looking for. This will give you the chance to be more realistic with those goals, right?
Now guys, can you comment please who actually take their time to celebrate their great achievements, whatever achievement there is? I would like to see some pluses.
Yeah.
Maybe you go shopping, maybe you are constantly rewatching the video, I don't know. Please.
Yeah, just maybe having
comment
a glass of champagne after the competition.
If you have a certain activity that you are doing most often, write down an activity. We would like to see what you guys.
What is your way to celebrate? I think is actually a great thing to make it a little tradition, like to do something specific each time. Whatever brings you the most joy each time after you achieve something, I think it's a great tradition to set for yourself.
Yeah, sure.
Let us know if you have one. We would love to hear from you.
You see, our viewers are very, very tough, dedicated people.
Goals.
They don't celebrate goals.
They go after goals, after new ones.
Yeah. All right. So as you guys are as you guys are typing, let's go into another situation, because we said you have two options. So first option, you achieved and you're satisfied. Oh, we have first answer. I reward myself with a glass of wine when I'm happy with my dancing.
All right.
Not a bad way.
Congratulations.
And please, while enjoying the wine, think about that great dancing that you have produced. That's important.
Okay.
After a big achievement, we definitely celebrating, going out for a nice dinner, then back to work.
Perfect.
Okay, a lot of people
Teacher
enjoy
led the celebration and took us to a short
to shoot zombies in Vegas.
Oh my God,
Well,
this sounds fun.
That sounds fun, definitely. Chocolate, all right.
Okay.
Celebrating, going to a nice dinner. Okay, so I guess the
All right, that is very good, guys. We're
everybody
very
into
happy
a
with
food.
you.
Us too. We like good food.
Food and wine, right?
Okay, so you guys are much smarter than us, because we've been not celebrating for a very long time. We will be honest with you. We really started to champagne, always a good idea. We really started to celebrate probably last year.
Quite recently.
Yeah,
yes.
like this year, I would say, when competitions resumed, because that was
Yes.
something that was in our mind, were bothering us, that we have so often good results and we are constantly chasing something, I don't know, our own
Next
tail.
one.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. I think quarantine gave us enough time to realize that. So I think that was a good thing in
Okay,
that time.
so I feel like we can go to, thank you for your answers. We can go to another situation. You have achieved your goal and you are not satisfied, right? So this might sound really strange, because, you know, how come I'm not satisfied? I worked on footwork and my footwork was impeccable, but still not happy. So in here we have to see what is the real reason that you are not satisfied. Maybe you were focused not actually on achieving your goal, but still deep inside you're thinking about the placement, and maybe placement was not good. So placement, we're going into a different part of our lecture today. But you always have to be honest with yourself and think what is the real reason, what is the real goal today? Is it personal goal or is it placement? Is it both? So if it's both, it's more tricky, because you can definitely achieve personal goal, but with the bad placement, it can wipe things off, which is not good, because you have achieved the goal. So you have to be pretty happy about that.
Yeah, and I think this comment we got from Janelle is very good at this moment of time, actually. I look at the video and always see my mistakes. I'm hard on myself. I love going over the judge's critique, and I always...
Can you press it?
Yeah, let's try to see if we can see more of this comment.
Yeah.
And I always head to the studio the next day to go over it with my instructor. I don't celebrate.
Okay.
All right. So
Janelle is tough.
yeah, which is actually very good, because right now we are talking about it, right? So let's say you do achieve your goals, right, and you don't celebrate, but you're still hard on yourself, the way we just read it in this comment.
Well, Janelle, the next section is about you.
Yeah, it
so
is.
That's
is.
right on time.
I think you're not the only one. So obviously we've been in this situation many times, and I'm probably the worst in this case scenario, because I'm a little bit of perfectionist.
I have seen recently some of our competitors dancing their competition, and then I've noticed that right after the final, which is, if you think about it, it's pretty amazing. Somebody made the final in professional open, and that should say that they're good dancers, right? And I think those guys are good dancers. But they went right out of the final, watching their video from the final. They're still sweaty after the quick step. They're already watching the video of waltz and tango and everything, and they're discussing what went wrong immediately. And I'm thinking, guys, you just made the final, and I don't want to say
great,
name
yeah.
of the couples or anything like that, but let's say that couple is not always making the final. Let's say that. And
it is a good achievement.
yeah, so
right?
for them it's a good achievement, but they're not happy. They're watching the video and they're pointing out each other mistakes. To me, that was really, really awkward moment. I felt kind of bad for them. But that's what people are doing. So for example, me, I don't want to see video right after the final. What's the point? I can't change anything, right? Judges, I cannot control it. I cannot control those people, and I don't want to. So I'm just waiting, resting and preparing myself for, let's say, awards. But some guys are so much into it.
Right, yeah. So if we are still not satisfied with the way we do things, and if we do them well, we're still not satisfied, I think it is something to analyze quite deeply. And this is something that I can relate to completely, because as I said, being a perfectionist in this case doesn't help, because you're always looking for the way to make it better, for little things that you can improve. So you have to be really honest with yourself here, because if you are a perfectionist as well as I am, actually, you can leave a comment. Are you a perfectionist, guys? So if you do have this, a feeling of, okay, I should have done it better, I could have achieved more, you have to be really honest with yourself. And again, come back to that initial goal, because if you're a perfectionist, you will always try to make it all happen at the same time and make it all happen perfectly. I think it is in a way unfair to yourself, and you have to be really honest with the initial goal, and only give yourself few goals. Don't try to occupy this whole dance technique, and don't try to make it all happen at the same time. It will never work. We really suggest you go step by step and set one or two goals at a time. And if you are a perfectionist, try to do those two things or that one thing very, very well. Because if you're not satisfied at the end of the day when you still achieved something, that means that deep inside you've been aiming for more things and you couldn't cover it at all. You know what I mean? So I think it is very important to stay focused on just one or two things, and rather make that one really good, as close to perfect as possible. So I have another comment. Yes, perfectionism is a problem and leads to not trying for me. I have not competed in years, but want to do Pro-Am again in next year or so.
Mm-hmm. So someone basically stopped dancing because of that.
It does stop us from
Can you
even
check this one
trying,
too?
yes, sometimes. So this is really something that we have to look at.
Regardless of my placement, I try to focus on my individual scores as long as those scores are improving. I usually try to keep a positive focus. From Jennifer.
Yeah.
Jennifer, well done.
Done.
I think that's a very good approach in order to keep going. And I'm sorry, Pippin, I'm sorry that that was, that led, being a perfectionist led to pause your dancing. I think this is an outcome that that you, I'm talking to everybody, you guys might have if you're too hard on yourself. Now, again, example from my career, let's say, from my experience. I grew up with some friends who are dancers, and they are very good level dancer. I mean, same level as me, right? So we've been competing against each other. I was beating them when I was young, and then actually at some point they were beating me when we were like in amateurs, let's say, right? We haven't been competing against each other for a long time now. But those guys, I remember, some of I think the most hardworking people I've ever seen, honestly. They've been practicing at 7 a.m. in the morning when we were back in Ukraine, and they were doing everything, all the extra activities, running, everything you can imagine. Really kind of good competitors. So it was really tough for them to make it. And I'm thinking, wow, they're so dedicated. They don't have good results, but they're still pushing it very hard. Now, I was really surprised that when they have actually achieved really good results, and I'm talking really good results.
And good dancing, right?
And good dancing too, yeah. They looked great, they danced great, their results were great. They were dancing together for a long time. So what can you ask for, right? Everything is going better and better each competition. So when they have achieved it, they were just as unhappy as before. They could not celebrate it. They could not acknowledge their competitors, which was really strange too, because they knew how hard it was to achieve that result. They've been dancing against those couples, right? And the couples were beating them. So finally they beat those couples. And it was really like objectively correct result. They were better and they were placed better. They were still so unhappy. I think they became even more unhappy than they used to be. That was first in my, first encounter for me in my career that I've seen this kind of situation. At that time, I was completely shocked. Then, little did I know, there are many people like that actually. So they objectively doing a good job, achieving something, and they're still not happy. Maybe it's perfectionism, maybe it's something else. I think those guys, they have some kind of pose right now as well. I'm really sorry to actually not being able to see them dance, because I think they're good competitors again. It was interesting to watch them. Yeah, so that is a shame really, because of how unhappy they were, how hard on each other they were. So
it led them to stop.
Yeah,
right?
I think they could have achieved so many great things together, dancing wise, but for some reason they just stopped at the moment. So that was really strange. And the problem was that they were constantly striving for that perfection. And I'm not saying probably that's a good goal, but you have to be also healthy in the ways that you are trying to achieve that.
I think it is a very easy way to burn out when you are too hard on yourself and trying to make it perfect. I think we have to acknowledge the fact that in a way it will never be perfect, right? So, and it is a process. There's no limit to perfection, right? It is really a process. So don't try to make it ideal. Try to, have this good and healthy satisfaction from achieving something, and then setting a goal into a new subject, and that will give you the sense of progress, right? So Natasha is saying, when setting a goal, it is important to make it as specific and measurable as possible. Then it is easier to feel positive when or if you have achieved it.
For sure.
It is true.
As detailed as possible. And I know Natasha, that's her actually professional field. So we hope we're not saying anything funny,
Yeah, I think this is what we are trying to do with Prism Method as well, is to be as clear as possible, as specific as possible. So the subject that you're working on is not something abstract, something not, not tangible. This has to be something very realistic that, when we're talking about the achievement of personal goal, you can definitely measure yourself.
Now, we were talking right now about one of the most strange subjects, when you achieve the goal, but you're not satisfied. So, of course, this is like a deep psychological problem, probably that exists, that we have to deal with if we're in that type of situation.
I think I was many times in that place, actually. As Iaroslav says, this is a very complicated one, but I think I can share, I'm quite confident to share that many times I was in the place when everything went well and I wasn't happy. And I think whenever it wasn't my perfectionism, it was something to do with lack of confidence. And I think right now I can talk about it freely, but if you asked me some time ago, it would be a really painful subject for me, because it was really strange to feel that, all right, everything is being done well, but there is still something inside me that wouldn't allow me to celebrate it. So I think it is important to, in a way, get out of dancing in this case and see what it is that bothers you, that doesn't allow you to enjoy yourself. I think usually it is something to do with this lack of confidence in yourself, and it's really important, I think, to find the root of it. So when you find the original reason for why is it that you're doubting yourself, why is it that you are probably not as happy with yourself, doesn't matter. Maybe it's not a dance problem, maybe it is really something outside of dancing, and most of the time it is something outside of dancing. So when you find that, I think it is important to work on it and find things that help you feel better, feel more confident, feel find those things that you are good at and really appreciate it, and build up the confidence based on those things that you're good at. I think we all have some insecurities, and we're all constantly working on it. And it is important to know your strengths as well, because very often we only focus on our weaknesses and only focus on something that we're perhaps not good at. So knowing your worth, knowing the things that you are good at is really important, and focusing on those will help you to be more satisfied whenever you achieve your goals. So I think
many problems we have coming from the childhood, and I think sometimes we read that almost everything is coming from that period of time. So it's most certain that you're not satisfied today achieving your goal because something happened like 30, 40, 20 years ago. That's also possible. I think to acknowledge that fact is already a huge step forward. And we don't want to go into that depth. Probably that's you should take more advice from specialists if you want. We are not from that field. We're still talking about more ballroom dancing, but in our career, there were times where we felt we're not happy with something, we cannot achieve something, and actually the answer was let's go back 20 years ago when we were little and check what's going on there. Why can't we communicate with each other better? And that was the answer. Or why can't we perceive ourselves, in a better way?
Right.
Okay. All right, guys, if you have any more questions on this specific subject, you have achieved the objective and you're not satisfied, please type it in. We have time. We would like to address that.
And now we're moving on to, while you guys are thinking about it, let's move on to something that is called not achieved the goal, right?
Yeah, so now we are competing. We had some objective goal that we are working on, right? Leg action. We have not achieved the leg action correctly at the competition. Leg action just talking out of nowhere.
Let's say danced walls and straight knees, right? Haven't done the leg.
Yeah, we have not achieved that, and we are satisfied with that. If you guys are not achieving and you're totally satisfied with that, probably your level of confidence is
very high.
Yeah, on my level. 11 out of 10, but I have to say that's really strange. I don't even know if we should talk so much about it or not. I think it's just you are dancing for
fun.
For fun. That's totally fine. The positive side is that you're happy people, and it's hard to bring you down or anything like that. That's good. And then the negative side would be probably it would be hard for you to improve, right? So you have to motivate your teacher and tell him or her very straightforward that results, achieving those results, not talking about the placement right now. But probably if you haven't achieved the result, then, if you have good placement, you must be extremely lucky and confident. If you have bad placement, I would say that's fair, right? But you have to let know the teacher that professional dancing is not for you, and then you want to have a good time and maybe focus on something else.
Which is also fine, yeah.
Which is totally fine.
Many people come to dance to socialize, to keep themselves in a good shape, or just have fun. This is totally fine. So even not achieving personal goals, or not setting the goals, probably in this case, will not be a big problem. Right?
Yeah.
So we will not focus on that, because this is, again, a little bit different activity, probably, and those people are not going to be as focused on competition results.
Yeah. So we're going to another one. You have personal goal that's objective, and you can actually, it's tangible. You're in charge of that. You have not achieved it, and you are unhappy. You're not satisfied with that. I think that's probably in this section, that's like the most popular
realistic
thing. Yeah. You are working hard, you're trying hard, you did not do it, and of course you are upset. So how can we deal with that?
I think, again, we've been through those moments very often throughout
our life,
20 plus years career. Yes. So many times things go wrong, and many times we even the things that we have to be in charge in, we cannot be in charge in. So it is very important in this case to analyze specifically what has been going on at the competition or perhaps before the competition. So we have to set here time frame. We're going to have a competition day, and we're going to have the whole preparation to the competition. We're going to look at few days before the competition, right? Especially this, I think, is very important. So while preparing, we had the last few days, maybe perhaps a week before the competition, that we have to analyze. So coming from the training part, let's start with the training part, Iaroslav. What do you think? Like few days before the competition, we have to analyze what is going on. And I know you have an example from when a student was performing very well before the competition, and then the last few days before the competition.
So I really did have an example. So I used to have one student, and we've been dancing together for like way over, like let's say like 2 years, and we've done many competitions. And I've noticed that if competition is on Saturday and she's dancing really well on Wednesday, let's say, the competition will be a disaster. If the competition is on Saturday and the whole week that student is dancing so-so, then competition is a high chance that comp will be really good. And I've noticed this pattern over a period of time, and it always worked for some reason. So if she's dancing really well, I'm already kind of upset during the lesson because I know it's gonna be bad at the comp. Now the problem is that actually nothing wrong with the person, and nothing wrong with me as a teacher. The thing is that we always, and that's something that is very well developed in other sports, but in ballroom dancing, some people know about it, like we know about it, for example, because we finished physical education and sport university. Many people are not aware of it. We have to have our peak performance on the day of the competition. This is really where we say, oh, the stars aligned, and peak too soon. That's true.
Soon, yeah.
The stars have aligned, and we are performing our best. So in other sports, people have certain preparation, and many people are involved. Olympic Games are going on right now, and of course those athletes, they do everything to have their peak performance at the Olympics. Sometimes teams screw up. Teams, I mean the people who prepare the athlete. And of course, athlete has the best performance, I don't know, let's say 1 week before Olympics, and then performance goes down. That's expected, but the problem is that Olympics is at that period of time. So you are most likely you're not gonna do well. Or you have peak performance after the Olympics. That's shame as well. So this is what we have to be aware of. And very often, again, talking about perfectionism, you guys are pushing yourself so much every day, and most likely that peak performance, sometimes the pressure at the comp gets to me.
Yeah, we'll get to this
we'll
moment.
Get to that moment, yeah. So sometimes you guys are pushing yourself so much, 100% every lesson, but deep inside you have to plan that your peak performance has to be at the day of the competition, and sometimes it requires rest. Yeah. Sometimes it requires not going to practice or to the lesson. And how many times, for example, with one of my students, she wants to do even more lessons 1 week before the competition, and I am actually not canceling lessons with her, but let's say we have 2 lessons, and I teach her 45 minutes, and I'm saying to her, you did a very good job.
It's enough.
At this period of time, that's enough for you, because I know she will be burned out. So those things we really have to keep in mind as we are preparing for the event. And again, we are talking about personal goal achievement objective. It has nothing to do with our results. After all, if you feel incapable physically of doing something, there is no point of talking about results so much. We have another comment.
Yeah. Same here. My nerves are terrible. I don't want to disappoint my instructor.
From Denise.
All
right, dear Tren and Denise.
Yeah.
So we're
getting to a competition day, right? I think this is something to do with a competition day.
We highly recommend you to go and maybe rewatch our live on how to deal with competition anxiety.
It's available on our website, IaroslavandLiliia.com, or our YouTube channel.
I think it was live number 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is live number 6. So 2 lives ago. We have shared some valuable information that we got from our university, and we even got comment from people who are currently in US Army, and they said that basically that is some information that they didn't know, but it definitely they will use it, and they feel like it's going to be helpful because we answered some of the questions why they feel certain way before they need to perform something or engage in some combat or things like that.
So we're talking about how to get to this combat ready state and how to deal with anxiety, or in other words, too much nerves, right? And after, this is actually coming from my experience, after we've done that live, we had to compete. And although I knew the information, because obviously we learned it, we were aware of it, and we were teaching it to our students, after we have done that live, I was kind of renewing that whole thing in my mind, and at the competition I self-regulate myself, because I'm usually prone to anxiety as well, and pre-start nervousness. So I was able to actually self-regulate, and I did my competition so much better. I dealt with my nerves so much better. So highly recommend to rewatch how to deal with competition anxiety live.
Okay, guys, we have looks like the urgent question in here. Okay, so you don't always go practice if you feel you will peak too early. I have a comp Friday and then so much this weekend that I have blisters on my feet. Okay, correct. If you feel, and we all have our personal clock inside, right? If you feel you peak too early, I suggest you don't go practice. Also, what is really important, and it might look like I'm like too confident sometimes, or even cocky or anything like that. But Lilia laughs at me in this case. So when you go practice, deep inside, ask yourself, what is my intention? Why have I even decided to go practice today? You guys will be surprised how much of a negative intention we have when we are going to practice. Especially, I'm talking, we're doing it professionally, right, for many years. So someone told you that you are not good enough of something in a negative way. Of course, I mean, we have teachers, and I hope you guys trust your teachers and they want to improve you, right? But in our career, it happens so many times. Someone said something negative, and now I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm going to practice because somebody made this negative comment just to prove that I am not, let's say, bad in my footwork. But this is a total negative intention to go to practice. If I catch myself that I'm thinking this way before going to practice, I'd rather cancel if I cannot revert it somehow. And that was...
It will always be distractive, and it will always... it will not lead you to achieving the goal.
And it's going to be a terrible practice, I can tell you for sure. I mean, it takes a lot of courage to find out and to actually cancel the practice, right? Because you always feel bad that you're not going or anything like that. But you have to make sure you're going to practice because the intention is positive and you really want to do it. So this is where I personally can tell you this is the most productive practices. I'm not looking at the clock. I don't care what time it is, and you can keep going and going and going, dancing full out with the music, with your partner, and be good at it. So that intention, the very first, the thought deep inside that drove you to practice is extremely important. I heard actually a similar story from one of very famous teacher, and he said his teacher told him something similar, right? I might have actually this whole idea developed in my mind because of that lesson that I took. But honestly, it's very helpful. Me personally, I've been using it a lot for a number of years already, and I can tell, so many times I had this negative thought and I still went to practice because I felt bad to cancel it, and practice was really, really bad. So maybe easier probably on the dance lesson. We're talking right now practices by ourselves, right? Because on the lesson you've been guided by your teacher, and I'm sure all the teachers, they are willing to help.
Yes, I think also if you're going for a lesson which is not like a run through, right? It is also different because you can focus on something else. For example, if you have blisters on your feet, come to the lesson in sneakers or in socks, right? And work on your posture instead. Or, go over, again, don't put those shoes on, go over your routines, go over your frame, go over your upper body actions. So if you feel like you have to still be on something that, let's say, wouldn't require shoes, and you still need to practice some other things, of course there's still a way. But yeah, we are not for a burnout here, right? So, or we want you to be on your peak at the competition day. So this is the most important, because the burnout is really easy to happen, because again, in this modern world, in the schedules that we all have, it is very easy to peak too soon, right?
If you guys have any questions so far, especially after my story, please let us know, or any comments.
Right.
Maybe you think it's helpful, maybe you think it's ridiculous. We want to hear from you.
Yeah, let us know. Also, we wanted to take a look at this one more time when we have not achieved the goals, right? And we're obviously not happy with that, analyzing what happened, right? Again, coming back to that one. It's really important to see with a cold mind, analyze, or ask your teacher, ask your partner if they have a cooler mind, ask them to help you analyze the chain of events that have happened. So either it is a burnout, too much practice before, or is it a competition anxiety that completely blur everything in front of your eyes so you couldn't focus on the goals, or is it something else, right? Apart from anxiety, or what caused the anxiety? Let's put it in this way, because it usually is something that causes you to be nervous. So it can be, I don't know, the shoes were too small, or your hair appointment was late, or your partner was late, let's put it this way, or not enough warm-up, or, the shoes can really stop you from doing a good footwork, or a tight dress can stop you from doing your posture goals, performing your posture goals. So many of those things that at first seem to be like, okay, this is something that was not me, it wasn't me, but actually that was you not controlling it, or not fixing it, not checking on your dress, not checking on your shoes. So this is something that you could fix for the next event. So those little things that can stop you from doing your best in your dancing, sometimes they can make you like less anxious. So it is really important to analyze the chain of those events.
Let me read few comments, and I would like to continue. What a brilliant answer to my question. Thank you very much. We're happy you liked it. And then thank you for doing this live. Max is constantly trying to get me out of analyzing and overthink tendencies so I can actually dance. I love your positive way to focus. This is helpful for my getting out of head. All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
We are happy you got the idea. Another thing is, you guys are involved in the chain of the events prior to the competition, right? And then what Liliia tells you to analyze. Oh, the
Thank
video.
You, Trent.
Thank
yes,
you, Trent. I guess that's the link for some
competition anxiety.
Yeah.
Probably.
Don't share the links of other competitors, okay?
Two others.
I'm joking. Okay. So we are involved in chain of events prior to the competition, okay? Again, the competition placement as the results are not our subject just right now. So as we're involved in that, you have to analyze what went wrong, and please be very specific, don't be generic. So it might be that one word during unintentional, actually, the person wanted to help you but said something that confused you, and based on this whole thing, everything went off. Now I can tell you this will be a really funny story right now. So something happened to nothing happened to my tail suit. My tail suit was fine, but I lost weight, and of course tail suit was not fitting me perfectly right at the competition. Now it was too late to change the tail suit or to make a new one. at that time, or maybe too expensive, I don't know. Anyways, I kept the same tail suit, but I was much skinnier. So what I did is we put some Velcro inside, so it keeps the right
From sliding, right?
shape, yeah, from sliding.
Keeps it from sliding.
And then I'm arriving at the competition, day of the comp, and I find out my Velcro is not there. So I'm thinking, how can I dance? My whole dancing depends on that Velcro, because otherwise my tail suit slides off me. I don't feel comfortable to compete, to perform in it. And that was one of the, I mean, it was really funny, and I found my way out, but it was funny how in all the chains of events, somebody at the dry cleaners actually almost screwed up my competition.
Your whole career.
My whole career depends on that Velcro that wasn't there. And I try to find the Velcro, and there is another joke, I don't want to say it right now. I tried to find the Velcro from some other guy at the comp, and actually he was not speaking English. He didn't understand me. I was so stressed out, I'm trying to get this guy to help me. He's taking his time, then I find out he doesn't speak English. So I was really upset with that stuff. But that stuff actually almost upset me at that time, to a point where I almost...
He was so stressed out.
not ready to perform at the comp that was important for us at that time. That was kind of stupid, but it did happen to me.
If you depend on that heel protector or on that Velcro, right? You guys have to make sure it's there the day before at least, right? So exactly this was my point, because sometimes the little things can make us so anxious and stop us from doing the dancing, right? And
another thing can be during the lesson you misunderstand one word or one word misleading some misleading principle that you didn't get right. You're doing it wrong, and then the whole thing falls apart. You are going to the comp, you're not doing your best, and you're unhappy with that. So go back, analyze, be specific, and find out that word, that phrase that
threw you off, right?
Threw you off. Yeah.
Happened to me that threw my whole
shift
summer off, I think. Yeah. So one teacher told me you have to shift to your left, which meant
while taking the position,
while taking the hold, right? Which meant I was kind of in between 2 feet. It was some time ago, so I was kind of not solid over my left foot. So what I did, I kept shifting my rib cage further left, outside of my left foot, until I was falling, and I kept doing it for months, and I would stress him out so much. And just because I misunderstood my teacher when he told me you have to shift to the left.
Well, basically he said shift to the left, but teacher didn't say when to stop the shift. So Liliia was shifting infinitely somewhere to the left, over the left,
and I didn't ask,
and she went out of balance.
Which seems stupid right now, but again gives you an idea of how you can, sometimes misunderstand, and that will screw you up. Because for me, that screw up my posture, and posture is everything. I couldn't do anything without, being aligned properly. So I know that feeling well, forgetting an earring can throw me off, and I lose my focus the entire dance. That's right.
Good
Always
point.
Bring a pair of extra earrings with you.
Point. Problem with the dress or earring fell off, and you're thinking about that. I think at that time, I can tell you for sure, I learned something as well at some point. If you made a mistake, you have to forget about that mistake as soon as possible. The second you made it, you have to forget about it. Or the earring went off. It's hard, but you have to learn how to let it go and keep on dancing as nothing bad happened,
Yeah.
Very good quality, hard to practice, hard to get it, but
it's only possible to practice it at the competition. Cannot be practiced in the ballroom, right? So I think that is what makes us dancers almost super people, superheroes, because we have to multifunction so much. And I think it is great to be able to control yourself and still, despite sometimes circumstances, be able to self-regulate. And I think, understanding the root of the problem will help you even during the event, finding that in the chain of those things that happen to you on a day off, find that real problem that bothers you and perhaps holds you back from achieving the goal in the end. I have heard how quickly one recovers from a mistake is what separates a professional from an amateur dancer.
Probably,
Yeah.
probably. You're
Yeah,
right.
so many times happened to us. We would stumble and it would feel forever. But when we checked the video, it was such a split of a second. It is not even visible from the outside. But I remember back in the days, we would be so focused on that stumble, and it seemed like it lasted forever. All right, let's read one more. I understand I sometimes overdo a correction. I've been told I can tell. At some point you were told not to let your heel drop too soon, but now Max said I was keeping it up too long. Yeah.
Very popular problem in the learning process that everyone has. We have to know when it's enough of correction, when we fix things, and very often we've been told during the lessons
Too much, too little, too
yes.
soon, too fast, too slow.
But we're never told when is
When
it
it has
gonna
to
be
be
enough. When is the heel on the floor, and you should stop thinking about the heel.
Reference points. Yeah, so this is what we have to have: reference points in time and music, reference point in our body, or reference points in the room. This is the clarity that we are trying to achieve when we teach and when we learn as well. So we have to know exactly when and what has to be
Clarity
as clear as possible.
Is everything, saves our time and money as well, and nerves. So I think that's one of, we feel like this is one of our mission as the teachers. We try to be as clear as possible so everybody understands what's going on in that complicated process, because the process of education is very, very complicated, and people are different, teachers are different, circumstances are different, so we have to keep it clear and then fair as well to one another.
All right,
Guys, we've been talking for an hour. We feel like we don't have a right to hold you any longer. So today we have started our lecture, how to deal with good and bad competition results. This was part 1. We honestly thought we're gonna do only one part, but we find out we have so much content. So this is literally a half right now, and it's already an hour. And I think the second part is even has even more volume, even more information into it.
I think it's more exciting because we're going to talk about actual placements and actual competition results.
Please don't disconnect right now. We
us.
still need a few minutes of your time. Yeah. So next time, as Lilia said, really talking about competition, about placements. We will be talking about rules and logic of competition, about how we are marked and how we need to understand what those marks really mean. We will be talking about how to react and how to deal with those results. We will announce the date very, very soon.
Yeah.
Again, our lives are pre-recorded. They're all of the lives that we are done up to this moment, including this one, they're all free. If you can support us and subscribe, it's free for our YouTube channel, Prism Method by Iaroslav and Liliia, and our website. We are doing different email campaigns, at least a few times a month with different things and news.
Letting you know about the free content that we post. So
I think, should we announce this one or our plan for the next one?
No, let's keep it a little secret. We will announce it as soon as possible.
So
right?
please subscribe, and in the email you will receive first, we promise you, information about the next live. We will giving up a lot of secrets away for the next live, and we want you to
know about it first.
Really, we only have the best intention, because we want people to be more educated about ballroom dancing, and this is our passion. We got education, the higher education in this field, so things are not simple, but they can be clear and therefore easier to comprehend once you have that information.
Right. It's IaroslavLilia.com. Make sure you subscribe, and we will let you know about the next live as soon as possible.
It will be for sure before Embassy Ball. So if you are going to Embassy Ball or USDC, you already know how to deal with
whatever comes there.
With the results. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you joining us today. Have a good Sunday. Bye bye.